Take a good look at this man. Now listen to this. Is that him? Detectives in Delphi, Indiana want to know, could it be the same man? Is he the elusive killer of Abigail Williams and Libby German, the two teenage girls murdered in a case that drew national attention? His resemblance to this police sketch is uncanny.
And I thought, oh, the sketch, he looks very much like him.
And today, Crime Watch Daily is uncovering new information about Daniel Nations from his own grandmother.
He pulled his pants down in front of that woman.
And getting reaction to his arrest from the family so desperate for justice.
I'm certainly hopeful that the information proves that this is the guy.
Nations is now in custody in a Colorado jail some 1,100 miles away from where Abby and Libby were killed. He's accused of menacing people with a hatchet on this popular trail outside Woodland Park.
I forwarded it to our investigations division, who then reached out to Indiana and gave them the information.
Besides what happened to the girls, investigators want to know, is Nations connected to the murder of an innocent bicyclist just out for a ride on this trail in Colorado? It's a story Crime Watch Daily has been following since day one.
I'm her bestie, Aunt Ann.
One that has touched the hearts of millions of Americans. Libby's heartbroken grandparents, Mike and Becky Patty, just spoke this week to us. Alexis McAdams from our partner station Fox 59 in Indianapolis interviewed them.
Every morning I wake up, I come down the hallway and say, "Good morning, Libby," because there's a picture right there. And then every day when I drive to work, I go right past where it happened, and I say good morning again.
This is where it happened, just beyond the Monon High Bridge, an old abandoned railroad track, turned into a hiking trail in Delphi.
Is there anything that you would want to say to Abby and Libby's killer?
I've thought about that a lot. And you can plan, you can rehearse, you can think you'll know exactly what you're going to say to him if you was face to face with him. But until you're standing there, I don't think anybody would ever know what they'd say to him.
After the girls were murdered, we joined investigators in the massive manhunt for the killer.
Right now we're on a chopper looking at the area where the murders took place.
In the air and on the ground.
This trail was where the girls took some of their last steps.
This is the last picture of Abby alive walking across the bridge. Libby shot it on her cell phone.
It's heartbreaking because these young ladies obviously felt safe to be out here doing nothing wrong but enjoying a beautiful day.
Moments later, Libby incredibly photographed this man on the hiking trail and recorded what cops believe is his voice. Investigators say they think it was recorded only moments before Libby and Abby were attacked, their bodies callously dumped by this creek.
We believe Liberty German is a hero, to have enough presence of mind to feel like she might be in danger and to activate the video feature on her phone and possibly give us evidence that might actually solve her murder and the murder of her friend.
Investigators say a witness claims he saw a suspicious-looking man on the trail the same day Abby and Libby were killed. This is the police sketch of the man cops believe murdered the girls. The witness was so close, he reportedly says he could even see the color of his eyes.
It shows a little more facial features, gives you a little more information on what we're looking at, who the suspect might be, and that's why we feel it is very important that this picture's out there.
Take a close look at the hooded suspect side by side with Nation's most recent mugshot from last week.
So when you look at the suspect sketch and Daniel Nation's picture, do you think that there's similarities?
Oh, I see the goatee and the lips.
When you first saw it come up and you started looking at it, was there anything that was like, okay, this could totally be him?
I don't want to downplay it, as just another person, but it is another tip and lead, and I've learned through this whole thing that I have to rely on facts and data.
Mike says Nation's arrest is just one lead of some 26,000 he's gotten.
We're tracking this by putting pins in to all the areas, the people that are contacting my wife.
He set up a virtual command center in his garage with colored pins tracking the tips he receives and also requests for wanted flyers.
We want to make this guy's world as small as possible, and you can see we've sent out a lot of them all the way from, East Coast to West Coast, even up into Canada. We send out 100, 150 a week.
Cops arrested Nations at this bank in Woodland Park. His car fit the description of the vehicle the hatchet man was driving. He was apparently spotted at this pawn shop earlier with his wife and 2 kids.
So our charges would be as it relates to the link between the menacing complaints that we've had and the evidence that was found in his vehicle.
Inside the car, cops reportedly found a hatchet and a .22 caliber rifle, the same caliber as the gun that killed cyclist Timothy Watkins. Timothy went missing after biking on the trail. A hiker found his partially buried body 3 days later. This is the sheet that Timothy signed before going into the trail. It's now filled with messages to his memory. Nations is only a person of interest in Timothy's killing. He's held on $12,000 bond, charged with unlawfully carrying a weapon, menacing with a weapon, and reckless endangerment.
Until he's found, to have enough evidence to charge him and arrest him for murder, I don't want to see anybody convicted unless it's, rightfully so, or justly done.
Here's what else we know about Daniel Nations. A father of 2 children, he's got a slew of mugshots to go with his long rap sheet. Convicted of felony domestic battery, and he's a registered sex offender in both Indiana and South Carolina after a misdemeanor conviction for public indecency. He was fondling himself. We went to Chesney, South Carolina, where Nations is from, and found his grandmother, Frona Ham.
When was the last time you saw him?
5 years and a half ago. He lived over there in the trailer. Him and his wife, he called me one day, he said, we're gonna move to Florida. I said, good, fine. He never sent me a Christmas card. I had never heard from him until the detective called me. And the detective told me they had me in jail for doing this and doing that.
And what about the arrest that landed him on the sex offenders list?
He was going to Walmart, get some razor blades to shave because he was going to church. And him and some woman got into it, and he pulled his pants down in front of that woman.
Indiana State Police went to Colorado. They say they cannot include or exclude Nations as a suspect in the deaths of Abby and Libby. And back in Delphi at Libby's grandparents, a cross with Christmas lights, and in the front yard, a pumpkin patch planted in her memory.
So you mentioned Libby had a pumpkin that ended up turning into this whole pumpkin patch now.
Yes, last year Libby had a pumpkin that was setting out here on the front porch. It was Thanksgiving, and one of the little kids came out here, and he was out here playing, and he smashed her pumpkin. He made a mess all over. Well, we cleaned it up, but we obviously didn't get all the seeds. And then when it was spring, this pumpkin plant started growing here along the sidewalk.
A sweet memory of a little girl who left us all too soon.
They took out a very important link of our family. Our family's never going to be whole. We'll patch and we'll go on, but it'll never be whole again.
A horrible crime that tore a hole in the hearts of 2 families, a hole that will never heal.
The most important thing is to get this guy caught. They were taken way too early out of this world.
I'm Chris Hansen. If you like this story, make sure you tune in every day to Crime Watch Daily. You can find where the show airs in your city at crimewatchdaily.com. Watch it live or record it on your DVR and watch it at night. And to all those criminals out there, remember, we are watching.